The California teen who was declared brain dead has been moved to a new facility, something the family hails as a victory. But the move came at a price. In yet another unusual twist, Children's Hospital of Oakland agreed to release her only after sending her first to the coroner.
Judge Grillo has determined that JAHI McMath is deceased. Therefore, the coroner has jurisdiction over her body. In fact, earlier today, I'm told, and you'll need to confirm this in the public records of Alameda County, but I'm told the coroner actually prepared and filed a death certificate. Where the body goes after it leaves the custody of Children's Hospital is up to JAHI McMath's family and the coroner. That's not Children's Hospital's issue.
In fact, JAHI has been moved to an undisclosed facility where she will now receive a feeding tube and other nutritional support. Joining us now is someone very familiar with these types of issues. Bobby Schindler is Terry Schiavo's brother. His sister became the center of an international debate after a brain injury left her in a vegetative state. Bobby, thank you so much for taking some time to be here with us. I do appreciate it.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
I also want to just send our condolences. It really hasn't been that long ago since your sister passed away. And so we appreciate you being willing to share the journey of your family. Can you describe what it is like for the family of someone who has had some sort of severe brain injury? And we will take the time to note the differences between JAHI and Terry, but that renders that loved one unresponsive and unable to take care of themselves. What does that do to the family?
Well, initially, it's traumatic. As in the case of my sister, she was perfectly fine one day, and the next day we find ourselves where we didn't know she was going to make it through the night. She collapsed. Don't know what caused the collapse to this day. Went several minutes without oxygen to the brain and experienced a profound brain injury. And from that point on, she became dependent on others for her care, which was hopefully going to be our family. So initially, it was very traumatic. Until you get over that initial shock of not knowing how well a person is going to improve, it's something that's difficult to accept, but you eventually come to terms with it, and then you just adjust your life, and you realize that, look, we might have to care for this person this way the rest of our lives, and in the case of our family, we were perfectly willing to accept Terry the way she was.
And as I understand it, there was one point at which Terry was, in fact, improving. Can you describe I have to imagine it's sheer anguish to have to make these kinds of decisions when the medical community and the legal community are telling you there is no hope, and your heart, your faith, your belief in that loved one is telling you that there might be hope. How do you manage that kind of conflict?
Well, again, in the case of Terry, there were doctors that were not giving us a good prognosis, but there are also doctors that believe with proper rehabilitation and therapy she can improve. To how much we weren't sure at the time, but she was getting aggressive therapy and rehabilitation for the first couple years, and she was improving. She was starting to form words, and we were encouraged by her progress. Unfortunately, and not to get into all the details, but Michael Schiavo, her husband, was her guardian, and he stopped all therapy and rehabilitation 2 years after it started, and basically warehoused my sister, and she deteriorated significantly. From that point, our family could do nothing to help her, despite the fact there was technology, there was rehab facilities available to help my sister, and our family could do nothing to help her, and it was very difficult. And then obviously it erupted into this international case, as you said, that became a fight between whether she should live or die.
And let's bring it back to this case of 13-year-old JAHI McMath. Can you tell me how the Terry Schiavo Life and Hope Network got involved with the family? I understand that you're in regular contact, communication rather, with her father.
Right. Well, after Terry died, our family said, look, we want to continue being a voice really for the voiceless and helping families if they will call upon us to help. And so we've been doing this for almost 9 years now, where families have called us for different types of help. With the resources we have, we try and help these families. And we got involved with the JAHI situation, and quite frankly, it wasn't just our organization, but it was a lot of people really working very hard behind the scenes to try. Our main goal, our main objective was to find a facility that would take JAHI, because obviously the Children's Hospital in Oakland their efforts were to end JAHI's life, and the family wanted to give her at least a chance to improve, and we were trying to help the family by finding a facility for this young girl.
And can you tell me, for those of us who are on the outside looking in, what part of a situation like this do we perhaps not get or understand?
Well, I mean, the brain injury is, unless you've experienced a loved one or someone you know close that has experienced a brain injury, you just don't understand the levels of different types of brain injury. And as family members, you always hold out hope that they can be helped. And sometimes they get better, sometimes they don't, sometimes they show slight improvement, sometimes they don't. It just depends. Now, in the case of JAHI, I think the family has every right to at least try to see if she can improve. The hospital was so quick to issue this diagnosis of brain death. We've seen other cases that have documented where people have been diagnosed with the same type of condition to improve and to get better. So our family is standing with JAHI because we believe that the family should be in a position to at least see if JAHI can get better, improve, before we're going to end her life. And that's really the bigger picture here that we all need to be concerned about, is families, individuals, our medical rights are being taken from us, and they're being put in the hands of hospitals, ethics boards, that perhaps have other interests in mind rather than the best interests of the patient.
And what would you say? I would guess that you have more information about this case than we do, even as we followed it in the news. What's your assessment about how this hospital has treated JAHI and her family?
Well, they were the ones that put her in this condition in the first place. She went in for a tonsil surgery, and something went terribly wrong. And then the next thing you know, the families were faced with the hospital wanting to remove her ventilator so she would die. So you can understand the family not trusting the hospital and wanting to transfer the hospital out of that facility. The hospital in our dealings were making that very difficult. I don't know the details why things were so difficult to transfer JAHI, but that's all the family wants. They want some time. And again, if a family wants time, if a family wants to see if their loved one can improve, I think they should be afforded that time rather than a hospital that might have other interests in mind. And after time, perhaps, I don't know what's going to happen with JAHI, if she's going to get better or not, but after time, and we evaluate her condition, and if whatever does happen, maybe the family at that point can come to an assessment and then decide on what they want to do.
All right. Bobby Schindler, thank you so much for taking some time with us. We do appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
And you're watching Arise America.